We're going to review the 3 different update methods we can use to update your PinPoint III Envelop Hub. The first thing that we're going to do is on our current software revision, we're going to check what that is. So to do that, we would go to the wrench, we would go to Operator, Diagnostics, Revision Information, and now in there we can see that our Gateway Hub is on revision 1.2.23. And what we're going to do is update that to the current revision of firmware, which is going to be 1.2.36. So in order to do that, we need to get our Bluetooth enabled device, whatever that is, iOS, Android, and we need to first download the software file onto our device. So in this case, the software was emailed to me. So I'm going to click on that email. I'm going to open up the software file, and when I do that, I'm going to click on the download button, and I'm going to share the file to my device, save to files, and I'm just going to pick on my iPhone and click save. So now I have saved this file to my device, and once I've done that, I can come over and open up the Capstan Ag app, and the first thing that I want to do is hit the 3 dot or the capstan leaf in the upper right hand corner, and I'm going to click connect. So now I see the hub. I'm going to click on the hub. We're connected to the hub now. Now, as you can see, I already have software revision 1.02.36 loaded onto here, so I don't need to reload it. Just below that, I have an example of a file that won't work, which is version 1.02.36. But you can see the method that I used to automatically save this file to my device, it loaded a time and date stamp on it. That file will not work and will not write to our hub because it's only looking for a file with the PinPoint III STM32 hub version 1.02.36. So if you download a file that has some other names on it or letters other than what it's supposed to be, it won't work. So that last one down won't work. Now, if I didn't already have it loaded on here, I'm going to show you how you would do that. I would click on the folder. I'm going to import a local file since I saved it to my device, and I saved it on my iPhone. So when I click on that, you can see now that I have that 1.02.36 firmware file. And it didn't load an additional item on here because I saved it prior to my device. Now, whenever I'm ready to upload this file to the controller, I simply click on the file. It's going to say File Options, and I'm going to send it to the controller. Now, as soon as I do that, you can see that up in the very upper portion of this, you get a progress bar that has a blue line advancing on it. So that's telling you that this firmware file is now sending to the controller. And what it does is it takes this file and it writes it to the SD card that's on the PinPoint III hub. It's not actually in the process of upgrading firmware right now. It's in the process of just transferring this update file to the controller. Once this is complete, we will get a box that pops up that says File Transfer Complete. We'll hit OK. Now, in order for that software upgrade to occur, we would then have to come back over into our console, into the wrench, into the initial setup, into configuration, and we would have to come down here and hit software restart. And once that file is uploaded and we hit the software restart, it's going to apply that software update. So I'm not going to go all the way through with the software update on this. On an iOS device, on an Apple device, it's going to take anywhere between 10 and 16 minutes to transfer that file. If you have an Android device, it's going to take about 6 minutes to transfer that file. So Android is much faster than Apple. For some reason, Apple throttles the Bluetooth on their devices so you don't get the maximum Bluetooth communication speed. So both of them will work. Again, Android is quite a bit faster if you're using an Android device. So instead of continuing to transfer this update, I'm just going to hit cancel. Would you like to cancel the file transfer? Yes. So now we'll talk about a different method that we can use to upgrade the firmware on those. And that would be by going to your gateway hub, and we would actually remove the back cover off of the hub. And once the back cover was removed, we would identify that there is an SD card that's actually inserted on here. And just by popping that SD card up, we can remove it from the hub. We could then take this SD card, we could insert it into our computer or into an SD card reader, and we could put the software upgrade file directly on this SD card. Once we had that file put on the SD card, we would simply reinsert it into the hub, and then once we powered this up again, it would apply that software update to the hub. Now, we don't prefer that method of removing the SD card. If for some reason your Bluetooth device won't work, it is an option, but we do have an O-ring seal on that we like not to break unless we have to. So that would be the last case scenario way to update it. And the last method that we have to update it is via a CAN translator. So the CAN translator, you would take and get the diagnostic update cable. This is part number 118695-001, and you got a few different options to hook it up. You can use the ISO connection, and you can hook into the ISO bus in the cab using this connection. Or you have the two 4-pin DTs on it, and you can take the 4-pin DTs and you can hook those into the ISO bus anywhere that you can tap into it. One location where would definitely have the 4-pin DTs is right at the gateway hub. We can remove the CAN terminator from the hub, and then we can tee this in, plug this into the hub, and then the CAN terminator into this harness. And then we would take this serial port that's on this diagnostic cable, and we would hook it into CAN 1 on this. So in order to do that, I'm going to hook this into CAN 1, screw that in. Now we're connected into CAN 1. Now we have to hook the CAN translator into our computer as well. So in order to do that, the CAN translator does come with a USB cable. So you'll have a USB in to go into your computer, and then this printer style end that would come on here. We would simply put the printer style into the CAN translator, and then we would hook the CAN translator into our computer. So once we do that, I have this diagnostic cable hooked up. You can see that we have power and USB. We need to get CAN 1 and logging going. In order to do that, I'm going to have to hook into the same ISO bus that the PinPoint III is hooked into. So in order to do that, I'm going to pause this video, and I'm going to get set up with this translator plugged directly into the hub. In this portion, we're going to go on and tee the CAN translator into the hub. In order to do that, come back to the hub, and I locate the CAN terminator. I remove the CAN terminator from the hub. I would then plug in 1/2 of my ISO T cable, and then I would plug my terminator into the second half of the ISO T cable. So now that we have this all hooked into the hub, we have to move on to the next step, which is actually transferring the file. In order to do that, you need to use the Capstan CAN Commander. And when we open up the CAN Commander, we're going to go over to the Software Upload tab. And the first thing that we need to do is we need to select the CAN port 1 for the PinPoint III. So we select that. We're going to locate network devices. We're going to pick out the PinPoint III hub, source address 134. Now the next thing that we need to do is we need to locate our firmware upgrade file. To do this, I'm going to locate it on my hard drive. I'm going to come into 136. Now right here you see that I have two files. I have version 1.02.36. This one is for your Bluetooth upload. I also have 1.02.36T. If you're using the CAN translator, as we are in this example, you would use this, which is the translator version of the file. So I'm going to go on and click on Open. Now I have that loaded down here. I'm going to click on Erase All Sectors. So now I'm going to begin the upload. And whenever I begin the upload, it's going to initialize the upload. It's going to erase all sectors. I checked this box for erase all sectors. And next, it's going to tell us that it's beginning to transfer the file. We'll wait till that comes up. Now we're beginning to the hex file transfer, and you can see that we get a progress bar on the bottom. Now we're going to pause this until that progress bar is complete, and then we'll talk about the rest of the firmware upgrade procedure. Once the software update is complete, you'll see down here at the bottom, we left this off at begin hex file transfer, then it command jump to application, then jumping to application, and then programming complete. And that's when the progress bar made it all the way to the end, and now we have successfully updated the PinPoint III with the CAN translator. Again, if we hadn't canceled out of the app, we could have accomplished the same thing there. Or if we had put the file directly on the SD card, we could have updated the PinPoint III that way as well. So 3 very simple methods to update your PinPoint III: CAN translator across the ISO bus, Bluetooth application on your phone, or directly to the SD card on the PinPoint III hub. Once all that is complete, we can come back and we can look at the PinPoint III controller. And if we go into our wrench, operator, diagnostics, we now see that this hub is on 1.2.36. Now, anytime that we have just finished performing a software update or transferring the file to the SD card, we do recommend going to wrench, initial setup, configuration, go down and click on the software restart. And what we're doing in this software restart is we're just rebooting power to the PinPoint III controller so that it powers down and powers back up. You're going to get some warnings that the controller has gone offline because it did power down and come off of the bus. So going to hit the check marks there. It's still loading up. You can see now it's booting up on the ISO bus. And this is a good measure to do just so we can make sure that the update is fully applied and that everything goes back to its normal operating state. So